Hello everyone, welcome to Hope Rising. We're so happy that you joined us today on this beautiful fall day. Today we have a wonderful set of speakers that are going to be talking with us about volunteerism. I want to remind you this coming Saturday is the Unite 2018 Festival. It's out at the Allegheny County Fairground. It's a family-friendly event. You're going to want to take your kids with you. It starts at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, running till about 9 p.m. A variety of local and national artists. You're going to want to go and enjoy the evening with your family. That is going to be a really fun thing to do this coming Saturday. Next Tuesday, right here, we're going to have Sierra Wigfield from Allegheny County Recycling. That is going to be another excellent program. I've talked to Sierra on the phone. She is so excited about sharing with us. And I'm an avid recycler. Our whole family is. And I'm excited about learning more, and I think you will be excited to hear about it too. So make sure you join us next Tuesday. So for today, we're going to have with us, our first guest is Dr. Patti Wright. Now, Patti has worked as the Director of Volunteer Services at Western Maryland Health System in Cumberland, Maryland for the past 23 years. She obtained her bachelor's and master's degrees, both from Frostburg State University in the field of education. She's earned her doctorate degree from Kaiser University in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Patti is currently the president of the Maryland Healthcare Directors Volunteer Services. Thank you, Patti.
Me, Donna.
So excited that you're here. Viewers are going to be really excited about the health system. Would you mind telling us about the various volunteer services at WMHS?
Sure, thanks for asking, Dawn. First of all, the Volunteer Services is a department that's spread throughout the whole health system, and we're there to support the staff so that they can do their job better and to help us grow toward our mission and vision as a health system. Our health system aims to provide the best patient care possible and improve health of the community, and so volunteers are there to not just help aid us to get to that mission, but also to help the staff, to free them up to do the things they're licensed to do, and we can do other things to kind of support them. We use volunteers throughout the entire health system. Some of them are obvious. When you come in our building and you come to the information desk, you're going to run into a volunteer. They're going to give you directions. They're going to tell you where your family member is. They might help you find the way to get to where you need to have blood work drawn, or if you need to find a cup of coffee or just the bathroom. They're going to help you. I'm sure if you've stepped in our gift shop, you've encountered volunteers there. We have a lot of volunteers in the gift shop, but we have them all over the building, and dietary, on the nursing units. We have them in the medical building, and some of our outside of the hospital areas that we use volunteers. We have Frostburg Nursing Home, or FNRC, and Frostburg Nursing and Rehab Center. Volunteers are up there. They help with our activities for the residents there. Nice. We have hospice volunteers who go into people's homes and help provide respite care so families can get a little break for hospice patients. We have wellness ambassadors in the community now that help to spread the word of how to become healthier in your own community, and provide blood pressure checks and things like that. And then our auxiliary covers a lot of area, and one of the places our auxiliary does, it's outside of our hospitals, our Past Perfect shop. So it is a high quality secondhand shop up on Winchester Road, and our auxiliary runs that totally through volunteers. They volunteer their time and energy to pull that shop together and to sell things to people at a really discounted rate. But in the hospital, we use people in the lobbies, in our clinical resources, foundation office. A lot of our offices use volunteers right now. So that's where we're now using them. And then I can outline, you want me to go on and talk about other areas?
Yes, this
okay.
is so interesting.
Okay, so my job as the director is to try and find out what people are good at when they come to me, and then find a really good match in our hospital. So I might have someone within the organization, one of our department directors, saying, I would really like someone who's able to input data for us. So when someone comes through my door to volunteer, I can offer them, you know, maybe they're really good at inputting data. Maybe they're really good at running a cash register. Or maybe they're good, we have some people, some fantastic volunteers who can do displays. And some of them actually did that for a career when they were working, now they're retired. So they come in our shop and put everything out to make it look pretty, so people will buy things from the gift shop. So it depends. I try to do the match. My job is to match it up. Find what a person is good at, what they like to do, what they'd like to give us, and then find the spot in our system that has that need and kind of match that up. And so some of the things I do might be just discovering what that person's talent is and where we can use it. Okay, so some of the areas that we're looking for volunteers right now, we have an abundance of office-type volunteers, both on nursing units, in our cancer center, and our clinical resource center. We use volunteers there to file things, to alphabetize, to get things ready for the licensed staff to be able to free them up to care for the patient. So we have a lot of office-type volunteers. So that's one area. So people can maybe be thinking about if they have some office skills, or they used to work in an office, or maybe they just like to. That's a great spot. We have a lot of areas that are what I call greeter type positions, and that's information desk. So when people come in and say, where do I go for this or that, we need a human being there saying, welcome to our building, what can I help you with? So various days and times at our information desk in the main lobby, and our medical building lobby, and then we have the diagnostic center. So any of our listeners that have been to the hospital and had blood drawn or had an x-ray or mammogram or any kind of services, they've probably come to one of our diagnostic centers. And we need volunteers in there too to greet people as they come in, help them get a ticket with the little kiosk, help to oversee the waiting room, maybe to kind of be a liaison between the patient as they're waiting to say, oh, we're backed up right now, can I get you a magazine, that sort of thing. So we're looking for more volunteers to be in those greeter type positions. Another area is up on same-day surgery. And our same-day surgery floor, there's always a volunteer right there as you step off the elevator, and they can assist not just the patient, but the family. So if families are there waiting for their patient or their family member who maybe had surgery, this volunteer is that liaison. So surgery can call out and say, oh, we've moved John Smith to recovery. Would you find John Smith's family? And the volunteer can go find the family and take them back and kind of be that liaison. So that's one of the areas. Then another area we're looking for is prayer partners. Okay. We have a whole pastoral care department, and we supplement their services with volunteers. So one of the areas is we have people come in and do calling, so that's kind of an office type position there. We can use an extra caller or two if you can give some time. Maybe you don't want to be seen by people, but maybe you're good on the telephone. You can come in, make some calls for pastoral care 1 or 2 days a week. And then the other positions we have in pastoral care are prayer partners. So we have volunteers that go to mainly our outpatient waiting areas like dialysis and such, and they offer to pray with the people that are there waiting. And they don't force it. They can go in and say, could I have a prayer with you? And sometimes that brings great comfort to the people there waiting. And I just want to emphasize that some people think, oh, maybe that is just a job for men. Maybe just men can do that because they see that kind of as a traditional male role. But really, we can use both male and female. Right. You know, you can think about your own mother or grandmother or sister or brother. They might prefer to have one or the other, male or female, see them. So we can use both really a lot in our prayer partners. Nice. So those are a lot of the areas we're looking at right now. Let's see, patient advocate's another one. I didn't want to forget about that. Okay. So our emergency room area, you know, is quite busy, and sometimes it gets backed up. We're looking to place patient advocates there. We had 2 there, and sometimes our teens that come throughout the summer, of course, they leave us or go back to college for the semester, so we can use a little extra help there as well in our patient advocate program in the ED. Okay.
That's great. Now,
as far as like in the hospital, thank you so much. In the hospital, so is there a place where if people enjoy walking, is there a volunteer position that maybe somebody wants to get their Fitbit steps in? Is there somewhere maybe that they would like?
That's an excellent question. We have our distribution department. How could I forget that? That department delivers supplies throughout the building, everywhere in the building. And we have our mail room, too. We have a volunteer in the mail room. So the distribution volunteers, they learn how to pull the orders off the computer, put them all on a cart, and deliver them throughout our system. Those volunteers do tell me they get their 10,000 steps a day. So,
Awesome.
you know, if you're going to the mall right now and walking, come to me instead, because you could be, you know, volunteering and still getting your steps in as well. So.
Thank you so much. Alrighty, so it looks like I'm the one that needs the mic.
Okay.
Now, I heard about, Patti, that there's a new program in the hospital, something about food pharmacy.
Oh, yeah.
Would you share with us about that?
Yeah, our food pharmacy program, I don't know how they select the people, but certain people are getting boxed food sent home with them that's diet specific, so that if they come in with a particular ailment, in any case, they've asked for volunteers to help box up and package those meals. And so we have one volunteer doing that. We could use an extra volunteer to do that. Maybe like 1 day a week for about 3 or 4 hours is what that one takes, to particularly weigh and box up all the meals in particular order that they do. And then we're also looking, because some of these people have trouble getting to the hospital to pick these meals up, even though we are providing them. So we're looking for people, or at least 1 day a week, one person that might be willing to deliver those meals throughout the Cumberland area. So once they're boxed by volunteers, I don't know what the list looks like now, 6, 7, 8 homes to actually pick up the meals in their car and take them to the homes. So yeah, we're really looking for a driver right now, a volunteer driver, to take those meals out to homes. So
Such a nice program.
Yeah.
I love that idea, because it sounds like it could be, if the person isn't able to drive that much,
Right.
when the person brings the food to their house, it might be the only human touch they get all day.
That's true.
So what a great thing that the volunteer could take that and be very satisfying to them as well as helping that
Right.
person.
Right.
That's so nice, Patti.
Good.
That's awesome. All righty, so let's move right along. Now, I have another little question here. So what if someone has an idea or a talent that they would like to offer to volunteer services? Could they talk to you about that?
Absolutely. That's what I would love to hear, some new ideas, because maybe we haven't thought of that position yet. Maybe someone comes to us with a talent, and we can figure out a way to plug that in to help our patients.
Nice.
Okay, so just recently we had someone come through, and she's now managing the art cart in the cancer center. So she has that kind of skill and talent to take that around and offer art supplies to our cancer patients while they're having treatment. The other area that has kind of specialized skills is any kind of musician. Okay, we do have a beautiful grand piano in our lobby, and it plays music automatically, and we have it set to play all the time. But if we can get a live person in there playing, that is all the more, just is so much better to improve the atmosphere, to just kind of create a more healing environment, to make it more pleasant for people when they come in. So not just piano, if they can play guitar, if they can sing, maybe violin, any kind of musical offering that they might want to give to us, that would be wonderful too. I'd really love to talk to them about that. So
That's such a nice idea about violin or
Yeah.
guitar,
Right.
harp, anything that
Right.
people have such a beautiful talent.
we did have a harpist come in last Christmas. She was just beautiful. It was just
how
beautiful.
wonderful. So I'm imagining that there must be some sort of age requirements when students could start. Could you talk to us about age requirements?
Right. We can't take anyone under 14. So not even like 13 and mature. It has to be 14.
Okay.
And we don't like to let people leave. So you can stay as long as you're able to come. I have volunteers. I actually have one volunteer in his 90s.
Oh my goodness.
And he comes in every week with his wife, and we have We have volunteers from 14 up to 90, so they have to be 14.
Okay.
And there is a process to becoming a volunteer. I figured that's another question
It
you're going to have
is.
coming
I
up there.
have that one coming
And
up too.
I do like to cover that because it's not a simple call. I'll call, you know, if someone calls me and says, I'd really like to get 40 hours in before next week. And that happens sometimes with students. They wait till the end of the semester and realize they have to have so many hours in for their class, there is a requirement. And it just takes a little while to become a volunteer. So there's an application process, and all of this is to keep our patients safe. We want to make sure we have the right people and the trained people in our building. So they would start with filling out an application. We have an application for new volunteers, and a person can either do that online, because we have an online process to make it as streamlined as possible, or they can call me and I can mail a packet. But the application, then there's a health appraisal as well. So this health appraisal is going to ask if they've been immunized against certain things, and also they will be seen by our employee health nurse before they're cleared. So they need to complete the health appraisal, have it signed off by their own provider saying, yes, I believe this person's clear to volunteer, or the person is healthy enough to be a volunteer. Because sometimes it's not whether that person's healthy, but maybe their immune system's down and the doctor really doesn't want them in a hospital. So we have to make sure that their health is such that they would be safe volunteering there for them and for us. So once the health appraisal is complete, employee health will see them, and they will do a PPD skin test, and they will clear them to volunteer. And then I have everyone in that I like to talk to and meet personally. I know some hospitals do large group orientations where they have 15 or 20 people, but I really like to do a one-on-one because sometimes people are available at 7 a.m. and they're not available at 4 p.m. or the other way around, and I can customize that. So I have people in one-on-one in my office, and I talk to them about the orientation that we do and make sure they know the important things when they're in the hospital, like what does a fire drill sound like, and what do I like to teach the proper way to wash your hands, for our infection control and prevention. And so there are certain things that everybody in the building should know what to do. If you're there in any official capacity and you're wearing a volunteer name tag, you should know some of these things that I go over in detail. And then the last thing we talk about is kind of scheduling, where they want to volunteer, what kind of days and hours they might want to give to us. And that helps me find the good match as well. Because some positions say, oh, I need somebody, just one person 1 day a week. And some positions I can fill every day of the week. So it depends on what they want to give us and what they're interested in doing, and our openings at the time. So
that's awesome. Alrighty, so now on the flu shot, so that will be coming up, right? So
yes.
Is that something that you would like to talk about a little bit about the flu shots?
Yes, and that's all part of our employee health services. Volunteers who come through the program and you are registered as a volunteer can get a flu shot through us, through volunteer services and through the health system for free.
Nice, no charge.
It's no charge whatsoever. You have to be processed and be a volunteer, and you have to have your name tag and be an active volunteer and giving hours. But the fact is that we as employees and volunteers have to get a flu shot in order to volunteer throughout the year. Okay. So there will be a cutoff date in the fall that if a person chooses to not take the flu shot, they will just have to take a little leave of absence from volunteering until we're cleared of the flu season, usually the 1st of May or so. Okay. But I would, of course, personally prefer that everyone get their flu shots so that we can keep them throughout the year. But yeah, flu shots are required to continue volunteering, and we give it for free. So.
It's good. That's awesome. Well, I'm coming down to close to the end. So I think you did highlight this, but as far as contacting you, there's your telephone number and an email address.
Yeah. Can I give these?
Would you mind, please?
Great.
Thank you.
So my phone number is 240-964-8499. Okay. So 240-964-8499. That's my direct line, and I'm not there right now, so of course leave a message. My email address is pretty easy, so it's the first letter of my first name, P, and then my last name spelled out, Wright, W-R-I-G-H-T, so P, W-R-I-G-H-T, at WMHS.com, standing for Western Maryland Health System, WMHS. WMHS.com. And then, or you could go to our website, WMHS.com, and I always tell people when I send them there, when you go to the website, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you'll see a little thing that says volunteer, and that's where you click to, to fill out your application. You can get all the other information there. The health appraisals posted there. Orientation materials posted there. Everything is posted right there on the volunteer website to kind of streamline the process to get you in as quickly as possible. And if you don't mind, I'll just add one more thing because I'm really into studies. That I've read a number of studies, and it is as healthy for the volunteer to volunteer as it is for the organization. So these studies have proven that people who volunteer their time, who give of themselves, live longer and are healthier for a longer period of time. That may be why I have so many older volunteers. I have volunteers, in their 80s and 90s that are still going strong because they're giving to other people. So it benefits the organization, but it also benefits the volunteer to be able to give back. So
that is awesome. I bet you see that a lot too, where people giving back, they're just happier and healthier.
They love it. Yeah, I can't wait for you to talk to your next two guests. There, two of them are volunteers.
That's great. That's awesome. Well, Patti, we're so grateful that you've been with us today. Thank you so much. So there's a saying that I would like to share with you all. Some time ago, I was busy doing volunteering for the Union Rescue Mission, and the saying just was inspired into my mind, and I believe it's going to be on the screen in just a moment. And the saying is this: the heartbeat of the soul is measured by the pulse of our giving. And it doesn't have to necessarily be giving of money, but giving of time. And our time is valuable. And then sometimes we have extra time, maybe when we're in our retired years, that you do want to give of your time to help others. It is such a good feeling when you can give of your time to others. You don't necessarily need to even think about getting anything in return, but it is just an awesome thing. So the heartbeat of the soul is measured by the pulse of our giving, and you're welcome to share that too. So we are so tickled to have our next set of volunteers. These folks that are coming are a married couple. We have with us today Jeff and Penny Alkire. Thank you both for being with us today. It's exciting to have you here. So I'm going to be asking questions to both of you. And Penny, if you don't mind, if I can start with you. You all will recognize Penny. If you shop downtown Cumberland and you go to M&M Bakery, you've seen Penny Alkire there. Now, she's retired now, but you'll know her face. So Penny, thank you so much. So Penny, what inspired you to volunteer? Was there something when you were younger? What was it that just made you think, I want to volunteer?
Probably, I would say, when I was in my 30s and my grandparents had went into a nursing home, and I had seen people volunteer there, like whether it was entertainment, visiting, just different things like that to the patients. And that was probably the first thought I had of volunteering, and I thought, oh, down the road I'd like to do something like that. So back in 2000, I wasn't working right then. I wasn't working for a couple of years, and I thought, I would really love to volunteer, but I'm not quite sure what I want to do or how to get started. And I happened to see an ad in the Cumberland Times that they needed volunteers for Meals on Wheels. So I called the number and I talked to the lady there, and so she set me up and she said, if you have a friend you'd like to work with, and I had a friend that wasn't working at the time, and so her and I got started in Meals on Wheels, and we were packers at the hospital. And so we did that from 2000 to 2012, until the program went to, I think, HRDC. And in the meantime, I had went back to work, but this was only like one Wednesday every 3 weeks, so I could still work and do that. And I worked at that until that program went, and then I wasn't quite sure I knew I wanted to do something else, but I wasn't quite sure, and so I was still working. So I thought, well, maybe when I retire. I knew I wasn't that far away from retiring. And I had a cancer diagnosis in November of 2014. And when I was getting my chemotherapy at the hospital, they have somebody bring lunch around. And so I thought to myself, well, whenever I get better, that's what I like to do. Nice. So I had my surgery, and I was a year out of chemotherapy, and I went and I talked to Patti, and here they had a Thursday opening.
That was great.
So that was great, and I don't fear that because I've been in that department, and also it just feels like home to go there, and I just enjoy that. I don't think you can go wrong when you're offering food to somebody. I just don't think you know.
I like that, Penny.
But it just is, I look forward to it. It's nice to talk to people, and then I can share a little bit about, I've sat here before, so I know what you're going through, and sometimes people just need somebody to talk a little bit to. Sure. And you know, it's hard for nurses and all, they're so busy to spend a lot of time with the patients, but it's just a wonderful thing. It was just something I knew that I wanted to do.
That's awesome, and probably the patient would feel such empathy coming from you, knowing that you've sat in their same position.
Yeah, because it's different if you know, people can say how they know how you feel, but sometimes if they haven't been through the experience, they don't really know.
So Penny, what would you say to someone who's thinking about volunteering?
I would say it's a wonderful thing to do. You have to kind of figure out what you would like to do, because not everything's for everybody.
Right.
Like if you have a particular think, oh, I'd like to help with filing, or oh, I'd like to be around a lot of people, because you can be around the people or you can be back in an office. So if you're not really a people person, but there's just different things that you can do, and of course Patti sure did give a good list of everything. But the hardest thing about volunteering is just making that first step, because a lot of people want to volunteer, and I'll hear people say, oh, I'd really like to do that, but they just can't seem to get started. And I think that's the most important step you can take, is just making that step. Like I made that phone call, and it will change your life, and there's just nothing like it.
That's awesome, Penny. So Penny, have you found you've made friendships while volunteering that you've now become like lifelong friends?
With you, because you were.
You're getting the inside scoop here.
You were our last Meals on Wheels coordinator, and there have been people that, of course, when we were doing Meals on Wheels, especially at the hospital, we were just in our little room, so you know, we didn't get to see too many people. But when we were at Memorial, we actually got to work right with the people in the cafeteria. So I'd say you got to know, you have acquaintances, I'd say. And then in the cancer unit, there's some people I've gotten to know. But of course, if it all goes well, they get better and they leave. And so I always say, oh, well, I hope I see you at the mall or something, you know, because it's a good thing when they don't have to come back, you know. Yeah.
That's so awesome. Is there anything else, Penny, that you would like to add about the benefits of volunteering?
The benefits of volunteering, to me, it gives you a purpose to get up and get ready and get out of the house in the morning. And depending on what you're doing with volunteering, you're usually helping somebody that's either sick or in need of food, or just need somebody to talk to that maybe they just don't get that. There's just, you know, maybe some people drive people places and all. So it's a little touch that you get that not only benefits you, but benefits them. I mean, sometimes people say to me, are you still volunteering? And I'll go, Well, yes.
Yes.
It isn't something I would just say, I'm not going to do that anymore. If you have a heart to do that, you're going to want to do it, and if something happened here, I would go somewhere else.
It really does help fulfill a spot in your heart, doesn't it?
It really does, and I think you have to have a heart to do that, or know that you want to do that, which I always had that, and maybe not everybody does have that, but if you think you do, I think there's just nothing like it. There's just a fulfillment with it. That
I'd recently read a saying that said, the best exercise for your heart is when you stoop down and help somebody else
exactly.
up. And isn't that true?
That
It's
is so
heart
very
healthy.
true. It is, yes.
Penny, thank you so much for sharing. We just all enjoyed, I'm sure the folks at home really enjoyed hearing what you had to say. Alrighty, Jeff, you're up. So, Jeff, tell us, where did you work before you retired?
Okay, I was a conductor at CSX Railroad for 33 years.
Oh, 33.
Well, I was employed for 33 years down there, various jobs. And in 2010, I abruptly had to stop working because I had a back injury and my leg was bad. And so I took an early retirement, and in 2000, I'm thinking for about a year, I was just trying to get myself straightened out. And in 2011, in January, I decided to want to volunteer, just to some completely different. And so in 2011, we had our orientation, and we was assigned to the Medical Arts Building. There was no volunteers up there. No one had ever done it, so we were the guinea pigs. So we went up, and that's where I've been ever since, 7 years, and I really enjoy it. It's different, and you're moving around a lot, and sometimes you're wheeling people, and sometimes I hand out tickets to the people that once parked. Sometimes I might run down to the cafeteria and get somebody a drink of water or a soda or something if they're, one of the patients that come out of dialysis or whatever. But it's been really an enjoyable thing, and I've met a lot of people, nice people. So
great. So now, how many days a week do you
2
volunteer?
days a week from 8 to 12, Mondays and Thursdays. So that's what I've been doing basically ever since 2011. So,
Awesome,
but it's
Jeff.
it's been very nice.
Do you find that there's a camaraderie with the other volunteers and the staff at WMHS?
Yes, yeah. I have lunch with on Thursdays. I'll have lunch with a couple people. Sometimes there's 5 at our table, and sometimes there's 2, and sometimes I'm by myself, and so it just depends. And I've kind of become friends with them. So,
Nice.
but we get to talk. And
Would you say, Jeff, what are some benefits of volunteering?
well, it's just the getting to know other people. Talking to people, it's a lot worse off than you are because, there's a lot of sick people. There's a dialysis part up there, and there's the people that go up to wound care, and so we see the whole gamut of people, and sometimes every now and then you can say something that makes them feel better.
That's good.
So
Bring that ray of sunshine to them. So, Jeff, what would you say to someone who's thinking about volunteering?
well, I would say give it a chance, give it a shot, and see if it's your niche or whatever. You just want to do something that's selfless. You're not doing it. You're doing it for other people, but it is a nice thing for yourself. It makes you feel pretty good if you're you just enjoy. It's just a whole different thing from what most people do in their careers and stuff.
Nice to have that opportunity, isn't it?
Yes.
And then when you do have lunch, so there is a little perk from the hospital, right?
Yes, they give us. Usually we get a meal. It comes to about $7.50. There's a 30% discount, so normally you never have to pay anything for your lunch. Once in a while you might have to pay a quarter or something, but other than that, and then they'll give you something if you want something to drink in the morning, if you're for a break thing. But I don't take a break, but I usually get a coffee in the morning.
That's nice. Get your caffeine fix, huh?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. Jeff, thank you so much for sharing that. And Penny, thank you so much. I think volunteering, there is just nothing like it, where you can feel you're giving back. It's just an awesome thing, isn't it? We have like one trip around this world, and it's nice to know that we can leave a good footprint, to help others. We want to do something to outlive our life, don't we?
Yes.
Or when you give of yourself to others, you are outliving your life.
Yeah.
That's great. Now, every week, you know that I'm going to leave you with a positive scripture. So I do have one that's going to be about service and volunteering, because that's what we're talking about today. The verse today is from Isaiah. It's 58:10. Feed the hungry, help those in trouble. Then your light will shine out from darkness, and the darkness around you will be as bright as noon. Again, Isaiah 58:10. It's a beautiful verse. And I want to encourage you to read your Bible. There's so much positive in there, and it will just stir your heart and make your heart feel so good. Join us again next Tuesday. As I said earlier today, we're having Sierra Wigfield from Allegheny County Recycling. I would like to thank our sponsors today. Thank you so much to the Past Perfect Auxiliary. I thank you for the outfit I'm wearing today, and soon you'll be able to get this outfit and many more at the Past Perfect boutique that's there on Winchester Road. Thank you to Lighthouse of Hope Church for sponsoring today. We encourage you to get a hold of Ryan Brenneman at Allegheny Media about being a sponsor. Our slogan is all things good. We want to bring to our community all things good. And in your community, if you're watching this from another state or around the world, there's going to be a place where you can volunteer and share your talents with others too. God bless. Goodbye. We'll see you next Tuesday.